my friends. Welcome to Sort of Brilliant, a show where the characters are made up and Hogwarts house sorting absolutely does matter. My name is Rachel.
And I'm her best friend and co-host, Lauren. Every other week, we're going to invade a fandom and determine whether your favorite character belongs in Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Slytherin. There's bound to be some arguments along the way.
But in the end, we're always right.
Well, according to us.
According to us.
Hello, everybody. We used to be friends a long time ago, but lately I haven't thought of you at all. What up? It is the Veronica Mars episode. Extremely excited for this one.
Aw, that was cute.
Was it cute? I didn't sing.
It was.
So I didn't hurt anybody's... No. Last time I did, I hurt people's eardrums.
No, you have a beautiful singing voice. I don't know what you mean.
All right, sure. I know this show so well that I'm actually concerned I can't give any analysis on it.
No, she can't. She's lying to you.
I know we're always like talking about Supernatural, and I think Supernatural is definitely our cornerstone. It's definitely my cornerstone, but Veronica Mars is like my personal thing that I hold to my heart. So.
Well, listen, before we do this spinoff of Sort of Brilliant, which just becomes Sort of Supernatural, where we just analyze houses for every episode from season 1 to 15.
Every side character.
Listen, and I gotta tell you guys, that doesn't sound like a bad idea to me. I actually kind of like what I just said, and I'm kind of considering pitching it to Lauren after. In the meantime, though, there is other media, weirdly enough. Other shows do exist, and Veronica Mars is one that Lauren got me into years ago. Good shit, man. It's a good show.
Why does the CW keep doing this?
I don't know.
Like, Gossip Girl is like a shit show, but also extremely good. So, like...
I can't, there are things about the CW shows that I won't defend to people who critique them. I critique them as well. But they got some bangers, man.
It's like early CW. It's when it used to be WB. Like Veronica Mars and Supernatural definitely had a year or two on the WB before it switched to CW, which is what Buffy was on, WB. I don't think Gossip Girl ever was. I think Gossip Girl was strict, but it was early days CW. It was like baby CW.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. That doesn't feel like a WB feel. No, like if you think of
it was actually, I don't know why we're talking about Gossip Girl in the Veronica Mars episode, but it was like early 2000s sex scandal because they did all those promo posters with like Leighton Meester in a bra and like Chuck, Ed what's his name?
Westwick?
Ed Westwick and who's the deep on The Boys? Chase Crawford. Like, licking her body. So, and people were like, this is a teenage network. And the CW was like, yeah, this is teenagers. And the teenagers were like, yeah. So, yeah. And that was the beginning of the end for them. That's when the Vampire Diaries and all that. Yep.
But back to Veronica Mars. Now, we chose Veronica Mars because this is Lauren's birthday week.
It is my birthday week. I'm turning 27, which is such an ugly number, but very excited.
So old.
Veronica Mars. It is old. Misha Collins called me over the hill because we're besties. So.
Yeah, that had nothing to do with him wanting to feel younger. Old man. Yeah. He's like on his seventh hip replacement. But yes, it's Lauren's birthday. And Veronica Mars is it your favorite show of all time? On the spot.
I know, because I'm like, I love Supernatural.
It's a hard question.
I love Supernatural.
Is Supernatural your favorite show? It better be with how much fucking time you devote to it.
Okay, here's the thing. I think Veronica Mars is my favorite show, but I think Supernatural is my favorite overall experience. Like, the show, the fandom, the characters. But on a strictly snooty Oscar level analysis, Veronica Mars is my favorite show. Yeah. Okay,
fair. Very fair.
Hello, this is Sort of Brilliant. We sort fandom characters here, and today we're sorting Veronica Mars and Logan Eccles. And are we doing Keith Mars? Maybe we might touch on him a little bit.
I don't feel as confident.
Really?
Yeah, not in the sorting. I agree with you on your opinion of his house.
Okay.
I just can't. I wouldn't be able to come up with examples the same way you would. This is your favorite show.
What? No offense to Keith, but I think people will be okay with a brief touch and not a super deep dive.
I agree.
We didn't really deep dive on Vision. We kind of just taught you what the show meant and
what were we going to... I don't even understand that show, so I don't know what people wanted from me there.
Anyway.
Sorry. But as far as this episode goes, you have a total expert here in Lauren. I mean, this is her birthday episode, so if she messes up, then you shut up and you just take it and wish her a happy birthday on Twitter. That's what you do.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. It's in...
But I have complete faith that this is going to be a good episode because she's obsessed. And she convinced me to do it. I mean, she convinced me to do a full rewatch, then sent me a DVD. Yes, a DVD of the movie in the mail.
Did I really?
Watched. You did. You really did.
I don't remember that I did that.
We couldn't find it online. That's how, like, we've been friends way too long, gross. So she sent me a DVD. I watched it on my old ass computer. And her Slytherin ass, I was watching it and I was like, oh my God, this is so sentimental. Like, I can't believe it. She's like, you just watched the whole fucking series in 2 weeks. I waited years for this. And I was like, oh my God.
That is true. I don't even know if I want to get into the history of Veronica Mars. It is the little show that could. Like, it's the first ever show that came back via Kickstarter. It was canceled after, it was canceled after season 3. It's also like the first ever Kickstarter campaign to reach over like $1 million or something, like $2 million. I don't know. It broke a lot of records, but yeah, it's it has hopefully set the template for a future Supernatural revival because it was canceled after season 3 on a really awful cliffhanger, and then fans kept asking for it to come back. Kristen Bell loves the character Veronica. The CW just wouldn't sell the rights because they weren't convinced that anybody would want to see a revival, which is like a dumb reason not to sell. Right? Like, it's sitting there not making money and you won't sell to somebody else to try to make whatever. I don't understand how big corporations work and I won't try to. But they finally were like, if we raise the money on Kickstarter, will you sell us the rights? Because obviously that proves that there's a market here. They raised like a ridiculous, I backed it in 2013, I think, maybe? No, I was still on campus. 2014. It was 2014.
That's right. Get it right so that you can get your credit. Go ahead.
2014. Opened a Kickstarter, raised like $5 million or something ridiculous, and made this like low budget $5 million movie that was amazing and fan service, and nobody cared because it was awesome. And Kristen Bell still loves the character, and Rob Thomas still writes for it, and everybody loves the show enough to come back for it. So they revived it 2 years ago on Hulu and did a season 4. And yeah, that's the history of Veronica Mars. So.
Season 4 that pissed me off, but that's okay. We don't have to talk about that. We will talk about that.
Will we?
Yeah.
Maybe what we saw happen didn't actually happen. Like he's like maybe deep undercover.
Okay, and you think Veronica wouldn't know? We're not there yet. We're not there yet. All right. So
who do you want to start with? You want to start with title character, or you want to start with like little bit people?
Why don't we go ahead and get Keith out of the way?
Okay. Get Keith out of the way. Poor Keith. I love Keith.
What do we think of Keith for House, though?
He's a Hufflepuff.
Okay, now
he's the best TV dad.
Are you saying he's a Hufflepuff because he's a sweet TV dad, or like what's your first thing that pops into your mind that like why you think he's a Hufflepuff?
Okay, so he was the sheriff of Neptune, and he some rich guy's daughter who also happened to be his daughter's best friend got murdered, and he accused the rich guy of murdering his daughter, and the entire town like booed him and voted him off as sheriff and like shunned him and never spoke to him again, and his wife left him. And this man just continued with his life. It's not a Gryffindor. It's not a Slytherin. He was like, all right. And he took his skills and became a PI and continued to, I guess he would advertise it as help, but really he took advantage of the rich people who kept cheating on each other in the town in order to earn his pay grade and whatever. And just like... Keith is, so here's the thing, like, I think Neptune is a really fucked place. Like, it's extremely, it's like a mix of this extremely rich zip code and then the kids who work for the people in this rich zip code. So it's like there's no middle class in Neptune, literally. I think that's said several times. There is no middle class. You're upper class, or you're like lower to lower middle, like you're like barely comfortable, or you're like not barely getting by at all, right? So Keith, I think Keith's community is what he thinks Neptune can be, like what he hopes it could be. Because as a sheriff, he was really committed to like making Neptune a good place. He becomes sheriff again in season 3, and I think drops it because the police department has become so corrupt. He was like, I can't do anything here, and this isn't the place for me. So I think Neptune is Keith's community, but it's like an idealized version of Neptune that he would like it to be. And I think he definitely, like, he never leaves it. He always stays in Neptune, even when Veronica leaves. And he wants Veronica to get out really badly, but he stays there. Oh
my God, you're really right. Because he doesn't, even in the end there, when really, what is there for him if she's not there? And I mean, well, yeah, he gets into a relationship and, he gets some well-deserved happiness at some point. But I was going to say, well, wouldn't you say like maybe being a dad, maybe family is his community? And I started thinking a bit about Cass, maybe thinking the angels were his community before he realized that was bullshit. But no, what he wants Neptune to be is his community, which is so sad. Yeah. It's never going to be what he wants.
Yeah, he wants it to be a better place. Like in the movie, he is the police department or sheriff's department. So this is what I forgot that this happened too, because it's such a political thing to happen in the TV show. Like they went from a sheriff's department where the sheriff gets elected and like all that stuff. Between the movie and this, because Keith helps with this, it goes from a sheriff's department to a legitimate police department, which is a huge political thing, like the way that the community has to change in order to do that, blah, blah, blah. But Keith helps with that because the sheriff's department, by the point in the movie, is so corrupt. He gets hit by that car because he is he's figuring out like the corruptness of the system and trying to fix it or whatever. I think he's extremely devoted to like Neptune, come hell or high. Like Neptune is at its worst all the time, and he just continues to stay. And like, yes, he takes advantage of the people in Neptune, but like Keith is he's such a good person, and he's so smart. He could go somewhere else and have a great job immediately, and he just stays. And Veronica's his only family, and Veronica leaves all the goddamn time. She goes to, I think she went to Harvard. I don't remember. Yeah, no, I don't remember. She moved to New York for a while. She went to a really top tier, it might have been Columbia. Yeah, she went to a really top tier law school. At the end of the 4th season, it looks like she leaves him again. And Keith is like, I'm sticking around in Neptune. So,
man, that's a really sad reality for a Hufflepuff, I would think. I mean, maybe he's not aware that it's sad though, because he's got all his hopes and dreams on it that it will become something good one day with his help. And he really is a smart dude.
He's so and I think it's like it is super sad. It's like it's almost like a Hufflepuff that can't find where to move next. Like you're just resigned to because Hufflepuffs do that, right? As they change, their needs change and they'll move community. You mentioned Cass. Cass moved from Heaven to the Winchesters, and even though he still recognized Heaven as a past community and wanted to be loyal to it, ultimately the Winchesters would win out at the point that he switched. Yeah. I feel like Keith is a Hufflepuff that, like, his needs haven't changed, but the community has refused to work with him, and he just has nowhere else to go because he doesn't want to give up. He doesn't want to give up on it. Like, Cass ends up wanting to give up on Heaven because he realizes, like, this is a shitty ass place, and also Dean Winchester's hot. So, like, he ends up wanting to leave, and Keith just doesn't want to find somewhere else, even though he should. He's just resigned.
Oh, so he's like a shunned Hufflepuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super sad because he loves it so much there. Just why? I can't, man. When talking more about him, I almost wish there had been an episode on Keith. Like, how did he end up there? Did he grow up there? Did he end up moving there with his wife? Like, how did he end up in Neptune? Yeah, it's something important happened there that connected him to it. I don't know if it's that he grew up there, because I feel like we'd know that. I feel like we'd remember hearing that.
Right.
But it is where he raised his daughter. It is where he had his relationship with his wife.
And to be the sheriff, to actually care enough to run, to help serve and save your community. Like, you love that place.
His community is literally his community. That's funny. So undeserving of him. Jeez.
It is. It's Keith, I am not exaggerating. Literally the best TV dad. The best one.
Yeah.
He has the relationship he has with Veronica is such a good one.
Well, you don't make an awesome kid like that without being a good ass parent.
It's true.
I mean, she is something else, especially for TV that time. Very new Nancy Drew, but with more of a personality than we had seen in Miss Nancy before.
Before now, the CW.
I love the Nancy Drew show now, but before what we had with Nancy, not good.
It wasn't bad. It was just
no, but it wasn't as developed and cool as Veronica Mars.
That's literally the opening line of my paper. If a modern day Nancy Drew was a little more willing to get her hands dirty, you might call her Veronica Mars.
Oh, well, you got to tell the people about your paper.
I did. I wrote, this wasn't a for fun paper like my Ravenclaw paper about a real life person was. This is actually I'm an English undergrad major along with other degrees, but English was one of them. And I took basically a detective class. Detective fiction, I don't know. But
it's like a fucking community class. Detective 101 with Professor Professorson.
Yeah, Detective in 1. I don't remember the official name of it. I could probably go look it up. It was something much fancier, but it was basically detective literature through from like 1900 to now. So my final paper was on Veronica Mars, obviously. Why wouldn't I talk about Veronica Mars? Actually, I would have talked about Nancy Drew too, but I wrote about how Veronica Mars is a modern day noir. It is noir, but it turns noir and hard-boiled on its head because previously those genres have been extremely masculine focused. And Veronica Mars does an incredibly good job of flipping that and making it feminine without stereotypically feminizing it, if that makes sense to you. And I was reading some of it. Good. And I was reading some of it before we started just to see if I like remember some specific instances about sorting Veronica. And I was reading sections to Rachel, and she was like, we were like, I wrote a Veronica is this house paper without actually saying it in the paper.
It's actually kind of insane that she did that, because as she was reading it, I was not only remembering the show in its entirety, but just it made all my arguments for me, which was great, because I was like, holy shit. And it put it into this, English lit perspective. You heard me, an English major. And I was like, holy shit. This show was way too far ahead of its time.
You're telling me 2 English majors are doing this podcast?
That's gross.
This is too critical analysis for me. Like this, our pay rate should just double now.
It should. I'm an expert, and I've read the classics like Twilight, so I know what I'm talking about.
We make $0 on this podcast, and I think we should continue to make 0. So,
yes, but she made some excellent ass points, and I really think we should move into Veronica, because she's. You can't put her in another house. You can try.
You could probably argue, because we do. So
don't do it.
No, I'm not going to. So, but here is the thing. Like, I literally mean the sentence, if Nancy Drew was a little more willing to get her hands dirty, she could be called Veronica Mars. And Nancy and Veronica's houses are incredibly close. So I feel like you could make the argument that Veronica could go into Nancy's or Nancy could go into Veronica's. They entirely aren't. They're entirely 2 separate people, have entirely 2 separate sets of motivations. Rachel and I love watching this new Nancy Drew show because we already had Nancy sorted from her amazing computer games and also her books from the 1950s or whatever. But then we're watching the CW show, and the direction that they had gone with it, they could have made Nancy into Veronica's house. Like, they could have. But Nancy is so disgustingly...
Don't say it.
It's just ridiculous.
Don't say
it. We can't. We're going to do that episode, so I can't tell you. But Veronica is a Slytherin, and I love her. So.
Of course you do. Lauren's like spent her whole life trying to fit Veronica into Slytherin because Lauren's in Slytherin. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's what I did. I completely reshaped the show so she could be a Slytherin.
She said, "You can't put her in another house. I don't care what you say." I don't understand.
She's a Hufflepuff.
Oh my God. Imagine a Hufflepuff manipulating the way she manipulates. I can't even name one who does it the way she does it. Like, oh man. She's something else. Kristen Bell's depiction is immaculate. I gotta give her some props on that.
I love Kristen Bell too. Like, it's just so good.
She's never played a bad role in her life.
It's true.
Never chosen a bad character, never acted poorly. She's fucking incredible.
It's true.
I very much respect her marriage with her husband.
Yes.
I see a lot of my own marriage with my husband in that one. They make a lot of similar decisions and choices. They behave the same way. So I'm always like, damn, this chick's cool.
And you know what?
Makes me feel cool.
You know what? Dax Shepard has a podcast. So if he wants us on that podcast, we're open to discussing it.
Dax, we're in love with your wife. Let us on. More Lauren, though. Lauren's a stan, a full stan.
Me ridiculously. But anyway, where to start with? I'm really mad because we listed a bunch of things before we started recording, and now I can't. Do you remember?
We always do. We always do that.
Any of them?
The big one for me is the manipulation, because all of the houses manipulate. Okay, in some way or another, they do, and humans do that, right? Even if it's conscious or not conscious, we all have a little bit of the manipulation gene in us. But the way Veronica does it is shameless. Completely.
I think it's
shame.
also important because like you said, everybody manipulates, but like how she does it too, she has a point where she wants to end up, and that's the reason that she puppeteers other people. She's like, in order to reach this point, you need to do this, and she does it really well, and she is incredibly shameless. She does not. People straight up realize what she's doing and call her out on it, and she's like, "Good for you for recognizing it." But I got what I wanted, so goodbye.
Okay, that's actually the word I'm looking for is unapologetic, because shamelessness is very to me in my brain the way I categorize Ravenclaws. I think Ravenclaws have a lot of lack of shame about the way they think and the way they live. They're
because they don't realize that it's wrong or hurtful. Yeah,
sometimes they don't. Right?
Yeah.
So that's shameless is a word I categorize. I
with Raven. No, I definitely see that because Ravenclaws live by a system and they believe it is the most logical system. So it's hard for them to recognize that something is wrong because logically it makes sense. So yeah.
Right.
No, Slytherins no.
Slytherins are unapologetic about what they're doing.
Yeah. Slytherins no. They realize they're also logic based, but we realize we're not being the nicest or that's the other thing too. I was saying to Rachel before this, because we also have a hard time realizing that people don't think the same way as us, or realizing that people don't have the ability to. We sometimes realize that people don't, but we don't recognize that they can't. So Veronica, I think a lot of the time is just like, she knows it's manipulation, but she's also like, I why should I apologize for this? You have the same opportunity to do this to me. I would notice. Why didn't you? If you didn't notice, obviously I'm going to dupe you. Like, that's not on me, man. Like, obviously a ton of people must have done this to you because you're kind of an idiot. So, like, figure yourself out and, like, learn to recognize what's happening. And she just doesn't.
Fucking crazy.
She's like,
that's ridiculous.
She doesn't. And, you know, Kristen Bell, Veronica is a petite little blonde, and she knows when to flip. She's extremely sassy and sarcastic and will punch you in the balls, but she knows when to flip that switch to, oh, can you help me? My dog ran away. Like, she knows how to do it, and she's like, if you fell for that, what am I supposed to do for you? I cannot dumb myself down for you. Like, I have things to do. I have a life to live. Either catch up or, like, don't come at me about this because it's happening.
Yeah. Well, this is another very common Slytherin thing, too. It's that unapologetic behavior, but also, like, just, I don't know if they necessarily, how do I frame this?
I don't know. How do you frame it?
I don't know if you necessarily care that other people don't get it.
So, okay, this is something that I was going to go into. Because the only time that she does get chastened, right, is when somebody she loves realizes what's going on, and they're like, Veronica, was that a nice thing to do? And then she's like, damn. And it's mostly because she loves this person, and she doesn't want this person to think she's a bad person. Like, she's okay with it to an extent because she realizes that she's done a bad thing, but ultimately she wants the people that she loves to see her in a good light. So when they check her and they're like, Veronica, was that the greatest thing to do? She like gets upset. But if it's her dumbass classmates or like the icky bad men cheating on their wives or like extorting money from people, she does not give a fuck. She's like, I do not care.
Yeah, that's not common among all the houses either. Like, some houses care way more what people think about them than Slytherins, and Veronica doesn't give a single fuck unless she loves you. And I would say it's hard to make her love you.
Oh God, yeah.
I don't think that comes easy for Veronica.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, it's funny how it happens with Logan. I don't think she ever saw that shit coming.
No,
we did,
and the reason that it's a problem for her is because it becomes emotional.
Yeah.
Like, there's Veronica has a pretty healthy relationship life. She has Duncan. She has that guy Troy. She has Leo. She has Piz. And the only person that's a problem is Logan Eccles.
Right.
And it's because she is so deeply emotionally attached to Logan. Yeah. And it is a problem for her. He is a weakness for her.
She don't like that.
Yeah, he's a blind spot for her. There's plenty of instances where we as the viewer are like, Logan did a bad thing, and Veronica's like, it's all right. It's okay. It'll be okay. Yeah, but yeah, and they have such a turbulent relationship too. Like, they break up so many times, and like stuff happens when they break up with other people, and they get back together, and yeah, it's like, but yeah, Veronica has Keith and Logan are her huge people. Like, those are her people.
That's her circle.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think where I would put, like, because Wallace is pretty important to her. So
yeah, but you can have people that are important to you.
No, I know, but I'm trying, because you know how I categorize them. Like, I'm gonna die for you, and then the next level is like, you're all right to be around. And then from there, it's you're nothing. But
well, that's Lauren.
I think that's fairly common for like Slytherins too. I don't know. It's something like that. But I think I would call Logan and Keith her like huge people. And then she has another slightly larger group of people that she like cares about their well-being, like Wallace and Mac and Weevil. But yeah. Yes.
The whole Logan thing really also solidifies her house for me because, well, firstly, because of his house, which we haven't gotten to yet. So just when we get there, that'll make sense if you listen to this podcast. But just the fact of what she puts up with for him, and it does not change her opinion of him at all. Like, he is a hot-headed little asshole so much of the time. And Veronica has no problem telling people to shut the fuck up or call them stupid or whatever. And she does. But I also feel like she does not have any problem cutting people out. She can't cut him out. Like, she just can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Logan,
pathetic,
Slytherins.
Shut up. That leads me to a lot more that I've just thought of. Because, so Logan used to date Lily, too. And Lily is Veronica's best friend. She's the reason for the whole start of the show. Lily Kane is murdered. And Keith accuses her father of killing her. And Veronica is dating Lily's brother, Duncan. Duncan breaks up with her. Her father is kicked off out of the sheriff's office. The whole town shuns them, blah, 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 blah. So that's another thing, too. Like, Keith's response to being shunned and Veronica's response are entirely different. Keith we already talked about it. Veronica gets incredibly jaded, incredibly fast. She is done with this entire town. She becomes a loner at high school immediately. And like, yes, she used to hang out with the cool kids and the cool kids shun her because of all the stuff that happens. But she makes no effort. Like, it doesn't look like the other kids are like are mean about, like, they obviously have no problem talking to her. And and actually the first episode, Wallace is a transfer kid, goes to sit down with her because she got him off the telephone pole that the PCHers put him up on. Remember, they duct taped him to the pole naked, and she cut him out. And he was like, "We're friends now." And Veronica was like, "Get the fuck away from me, and I never want to speak to you again." And like, so like she like, her response to what happened to her, and her mom left them too. Her response is very Slytherin. She's like, "I'm never going to love anybody again. These people can go fuck themselves. Like, I just want to get through my life here and get out." And she starts working for her dad. Like, unfortunately, she gets sucked back in, but yeah. And her response to Lily's murder is very Slytherin too. Lily was a person for her, a huge person for her. Lily was a person. She hallucinates Lily. She has Lily telling her to please solve her murder all through the first season. Yeah. You get Amanda Seyfried, you gotta put her in shit, right? So, so she's hallucinating Lily all season. Lily telling her, stuff's happened to her, please help me. And Veronica takes it very seriously. Lily is dead, and she is still in this mentality of, I need to do this for my friend, and I need to help my friend. Yeah. And she's very angry about it. She's incredibly hurt by what happened. So yeah, that all of that as well was very Slytherin.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I don't know that other people would take hallucinations that seriously, like, besides Slytherin, because we saw it with Bella Swan, but I mean, that's another episode. So I mean, there's a common theme there too. There are hallucinations of people that we really, really love, right? And we listen to them. Like, we take them seriously. It's your only form of conscience, I guess.
Right?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's so funny. I wish I had remembered that she had been haunted by Lily. Oh, that's so Slytherin.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I love how right we are all the time, don't you?
I'll bring it up.
There was something...
go ahead. I'll bring up what I read to you too, is that so Veronica does become friendly. Her like mode of forgiveness is very weird and patchy, and it's very based on the logic of Veronica and how she sees the world, right? Which I also think is insanely Slytherin. So there's this character named Dick Casablancas, who is an incredible character. I actually love the character. He is a giant piece of shit. In like the realm that Chuck Bass is, he's a bad person. Like, you know, he's like a little rich white boy. Like, it's just, he's bad. And he's Logan's best friend. And Veronica obviously knows he's like a piece of shit. Like, she treats him like it, but she also like laughs at him and thinks he's funny and like, and is okay continuing to associate with him. Like, she has no problem with it. So what's interesting for that is she's not like that with other women. Like, when other women do something bad, Veronica is like, that's it. Like, we're out. And I actually wrote about this in my paper because I was like, because I was studying it from the noir point of view. So I actually had talked about, so Dick, she totally forgives. And then there's this girl named Madison, and this like requires going into like a storyline that happens. Rachel pointed this out before we started talking. She was like, there's so much rape on this show, and there is. Neptune's not a nice place. So in the paper,
basically, she doesn't forgive her for a serious wronging that occurred based on her. It's like a domino effect,
right? It's so I like in my paper I was talking about how in noir, like, the men who are in noir constantly underestimate females, and like Veronica takes it and flips it. She underestimates. She does it to males. She Veronica, from her point of view and from what she knows of the world, males are dumb and stupid, and they're supposed to do. They just do bad things. They just do bad things. That's just how they do. And so when Dick acts the way he does, Veronica's like, there you go. It's a typical male. She's like, whatever. But she holds the woman to like way higher standards. Like this girl, Madison, it's like this whole Dick drugs her, and then Madison doesn't know that the drink is drugged and spits in it and gives it to Veronica because she wants to give her a drink with spit in it. And Veronica ends up getting drugged because Dick passed the drugs to Madison, who unknowingly passed them to Veronica. So, Veronica forgives Dick for initially drugging his girlfriend, or like forgives him. She just doesn't care about it anymore after it's all figured out and done with. Logan is the one who supplied Dick with the drugs. She gets back together with him when she realizes he wasn't the one who raped her. She's like, oh, you just gave him drugs. That's fine. But she never, ever, ever forgives Madison. She will not forgive Madison for spitting in her drink. And it's such a weird, it is weird and it's not, because I understand it completely, right? I think Rachel thought it was weird, or I don't know what you were yelling about me at earlier that you didn't understand. We should probably talk about that. But
it wasn't this. But.
Okay, it wasn't this. Okay, well, we should talk about that if you can remember it. But I basically was like, Veronica has seen crime in men and she expects that type of behavior out of them. Yet instead of assuming that women cannot be the same way until proven otherwise, Veronica actually thinks differently. She knows women are fully capable of everything men do and more, which is why she becomes so disappointed when they do not prove this themselves. Veronica sees the truth in her world instead of ignoring it, and she becomes mad when it doesn't live up to her expectations. So it's funny, oh my gosh, because I'm seeing the intersection here between Hufflepuff and Slytherin, right?
Oh,
Except
God.
with Veronica, it's...
Again.
Right? Yeah, I know, we do that too much. But like Keith is expecting Neptune to be better. Veronica knows men are bad, but she is a woman who is very smart. And so all women should be like that, right? Yeah, but basically, like, it's incredibly close. Keith is community-based, and he really hopes that his community will be better. Veronica is people-based, but she's also logic. She thinks a certain way, and it's hard for her to imagine thinking another way. She knows how she thinks, right? She is a woman, and this is how she thinks. So she looks at other women and she's like, how are you having a problem connecting what you're not living up to my expectations, and there's absolutely no reason that you should not be. Is basically Veronica.
I don't misunderstand this. I understand this because I have a Slytherin friend. And I deal with this. Okay, so I get it. What I don't understand.
We can be pretty difficult. We're like, where's the disconnect? I don't understand where your brain is not.
Yeah, there are certain things I just don't bring up because I'm like, I'm not getting that. Thanks. I don't want this take, okay? I already know I'm supposed to be better. So, no, what I don't understand is when her father's paternity is called into question.
Right. That's right.
Lauren made the point that Veronica...
Please watch this show. It's so good. I'm just thinking of all
look at all this early 2000s drama.
Yeah.
So we don't know if Keith is her real dad or not. Drama. And Veronica's like, you know what? She has the results. She can look at them. But she chooses not to?
There's even more to that, though, right? Because it's not just that Keith wouldn't be her dad. It's that the Canes would be.
Okay.
So, but here's the thing. Here are the, not the implications. Here are the facts of what would happen if it was proven that Keith isn't her dad. So Veronica loves Keith, loves him. And I was trying to explain this to Rachel. We are, however hard we try, there is always logic there, even in the back of our emotions. So however emotion driven it is to love the people that we do, which it is, and it's why it gets us too, is because it's so unlogical. It's so illogical to Veronica that she should keep going back to Logan like this. Like, she doesn't understand, and she can't help it. It's so illogical. But I was trying to explain this to Rachel, that no matter how much you love a person, when you find out something like you are not biologically related, when that's the way that you've been thinking about it your whole life, it does not change how you feel about them. It does not change your view of them, but that fact still sits in your brain. It sits there, and it just becomes a part of the makeup. And it is something that Veronica did not want to know. And like, even further than that, in her case, if she hadn't been Keith's father or a daughter, she would have been part of the Kane family. She would have been.
That's true.
No, but I'm saying this is how big this is. She would have been getting a lot of money the Kanes are rich. If she was biologically a Kane daughter, she would be deserving of a lot of money. But then also on the bad side, she would be Duncan's sister, and they've had sex. So that would have been not great. But I think the big reason that she didn't is because she didn't want to know that Keith wasn't her real dad. And she didn't want to be related to the Kanes. She didn't want to be a part of that bloodline. And you can tell because Keith does also do a paternity test, and he finds out the results, and he tells her that he is actually her dad. And Veronica cries. It's like, I relate to that completely, that she would not want to know any of.
That's crazy.
She would not want her mindset to change in any way.
That's wild.
Is it wild?
It's wild to me. I would need to know.
No, why would you want to know? Why would you want to upheave your life like that?
You cannot keep these things from me. I need to know. It doesn't upheave my life. It wouldn't change anything for me. I mean, when you factor the Kane thing in, yes, okay, that makes sense to me, obviously. We're just talking from a standpoint of it would change her mindset, and she has trouble changing her mindset this way. That wouldn't bother me. I change my mind all the time. So, no, I would need to know. I wouldn't feel comfortable knowing that this information is out there and there's something about me and my life and my lineage that I'm not aware of.
I mean,
that would nag at me forever.
I understand it completely because Slytherins are incredibly adaptable. Veronica has proven she's incredibly adaptable. She adapts to her little schemes immediately and easily. But when it's stuff relating to the people that you love, or it's like really big life things, I'd just rather not. Like, it upheaves your, I think of Slytherins and their end goals as a series of goals rather than like the big overreaching Ravenclaw truth that they're always going for and they're never going to actually get, but that's what they work for their entire life. You can't, because they're so, I love you guys, but you would like want world peace, and it's not going to happen, but you work really hard for it, and I admire that. Slytherins set more manageable, shorter goal, like I want to get this job, I want to get this raise, I want to marry this person, and like they do that, and then they keep going forward, and they always have to have a goal, but it's usually something like that. And that's why it can be so adaptable. So when it's a change that is going to be something huge to your understanding of your entire life, like, just rather not touch that. That's going to mess up a whole bunch of shit that I'd rather not.
It's going to make you feel things, huh? We can't have that.
Yeah, it's going to make me feel things. I guess that moves us on. The last really big thing I can think of is Veronica's mother, who is also a piece of shit.
This girl can't catch a break. Also, just before we move off it, and I forget, how the people who write Nancy Drew must really be fans of Veronica Mars, because as you were talking about the dad thing,
I know, I thought, you know what, when I said the bloodline thing, I was like, that was just in the last Nancy Drew episode. But
yes, her mother's a dick.
Yeah, her mother's a huge, and it's so funny too, because it's like her mom, her mom's an alcoholic, and I guess there was probably a little bit of that, because there had to have been, before the whole upheaval in the season started or whatever, but Keith gets run out of town and her mom leaves. She's just like, see ya, I can't handle it. So she leaves her daughter, right? Yeah, she leaves her daughter, and Veronica spends a lot of time trying to figure out where her mom is, convinced that her mom needs help, convinced that her mom didn't want to leave, that she had to leave for some reason. Finds out, she thinks the Kanes made her mother go away. Finds out that this isn't really the case, like a little bit, but not really. Her mom just didn't want to hang out with them anymore. She's been drinking her way up and down the entire West Coast. Veronica, and her mom is one of Veronica's people. Veronica takes, she so badly wants to go to Stanford. That's one of those short-term Slytherin goals. Veronica takes her entire college savings and writes a check over to her mom with the promise that her mother will go to rehab. Her mother takes the check, promises to go to rehab, does not go to rehab, leaves with Veronica's money and never comes back. Yeah, so, and you know what? And the thing that makes me feel awful about it is that I'm sure that Veronica's thinking was like, obviously I deserved it because I acted stupidly and emotionally in this sense, and I tell other people they deserve it when that happens, so I deserve it. I fucked up this time. And that's extremely Slytherin that she would do something like that for somebody she loves. And I think it's extremely Slytherin the way that she feels about it. It's just very, very sad. I feel sad for Veronica.
Yeah, I feel fucking horrible for her with her mother. I'll never forget watching that and just being so mad. And the way, like, Lauren just described that she would internalize that, I would need to hunt her down. I would not blame myself. I would need to hunt that woman down. Like, my God. Well, I say that. I talk a big game. I'd probably feel so sad. But yeah, I think you're right in that she would actually say, I tell everyone else not to be stupid, and caught myself being stupid. I don't see that in any other house. I really don't. I don't see that thinking in any other house. Like, Gryffindors berate themselves, you know, you're like, always think you deserve the bad thing to happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Hufflepuffs. Maybe a Hufflepuff would think, serves you right. That was dumb. But would still do it. I can see, like, Annie Edison still giving the money to someone, knowing that that's a potential problem. This is why I have such an issue distinguishing them from each other.
She does.
You guys.
She does that with Pierce. She does
Yes.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Damn, your houses are really similar.
Yeah, in that respect, yeah.
In that respect, that's wild. Well, the other thing that makes Veronica a Slytherin is her love for Logan because of Logan's house.
Is it just because of his house?
No, it's just another factor.
Oh, okay.
We're just finding a commonality, and if you've been listening, I'm really sorry. I mean,
I think it was 2 episodes ago. I don't know if that made it in, that you were like, oh, fuck, Lauren. Because we realized what Veronica and Logan are, yeah.
Yeah, he's a big-ass Gryffindor. Again, we have another Slytherin-Gryffindor pairing. What is with Hollywood's obsession with these two houses together?
They're sexy.
It's nonstop. But even just in friendships or even in, like, family relationships like Sam and Dean.
Hey, man,
it's just a popular pairing.
We're a good pairing. We got chemistry.
Oh my! Well, I have chemistry with everybody.
Oh,
but yeah.
All right. I see.
I'm on my quest, a never-ending quest to become Jeff Winger. Anyway, yeah, just it's another one for the books. Logan, where else are you going to put him? Go ahead, listener. You tell me where you'd put Logan Eccles if you put the Sorting Hat on his head. If you don't say Gryffindor, you're sadly mistaken. I've never seen someone with such anger issues be in another house.
And that's what makes him a Gryffindor. Episode over.
I mean, come on. It's a big factor. The way he fights is a big thing.
Yeah. His emotions completely take over everything else. Does not matter. Such a
crybaby.
Do you remember the fight he has with Piz in the cafeteria of Hearst?
Describe.
It's a huge fight. He beats Piz like half to death. And he does it because he thinks Piz took advantage of Veronica when they were dating. Like, Piz was dating Veronica, and Logan heard something and went and beat Piz, honest to God, close to death.
Heard something. That was enough. Just heard maybe that it happened.
Oh, it was the sex tape. Do you not remember? It was the end of the season, that mystery that they set up, and then it never happened.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. It was Piz and Veronica were caught having sex on tape, and it was circulated towards everybody. And Logan saw it, immediately came to the conclusion that it had to have been Piz who did the sex tape, and beat the ever living shit out. In public. He didn't, like, get him away from everybody and then beat him up so nobody would, like, witness the crime. He goes into the cafeteria of his college and beats a kid almost to death. So
I fully understand this, and I don't think you can expect him to have controlled himself in that moment. If you understand a Gryffindor, that's not going to happen. He doesn't care if he's going to get expelled. He doesn't care about if there's a consequence
he gets
after.
Expelled.
Yeah, but he doesn't care.
No, he was also a rich kid, so it doesn't matter. Right. But
no, of course, he's got that padding, so he can be a real Gryffindor dick. But he really was in the beginning. I mean, Logan was a dick before. What are we going to say? He wasn't?
Yeah, he was. And he was also, it's so funny, he was a huge dick. He was also, like, Veronica's scapegoat for a little bit, which I think was, like, the beginning of her, like, emotional attachment to him. But he says something like, he's He's like, I'm not always the bad guy, Veronica. Like, I can't be the reason for your problems all the time. That would be exhausting. Like, and yeah, he what else is so? He's got huge daddy issues.
Oh my God. And then his father is the killer.
Yeah, his father.
Imagine that.
Really.
Imagine that trauma. I mean, well, a big Gryffindor staple is trauma, especially family trauma.
It is traumatic. And they build their entire life around that traumatic moment, don't they? So, yeah. Yeah, he has a little bit of an issue dating Veronica after having dated Lily. Because Veronica was Lily's best friend.
It's wrong. Morally.
He has no problem believing that his father murdered Lily. Like, he was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, he helps Veronica actually like find the tapes, I think, that Aaron had made. Oh my God, there's so much.
I can see another house having a problem with doing that to their father too.
What?
Helping turn him in for a murder. I can see another house having an issue with that. He just doesn't. He's like, lock the stick up.
Well, you see it a little early. Lily and Weevil were apparently passing like love messages, and this is after Lily's death that Logan finds out, and he's like ready to beat up Weevil. It's like, Lily's dead, man. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. No, though. No, it doesn't matter if she's dead. That's wrong.
Right.
Oh my God, I viscerally reacted to that. I'm not even just doing that for show. I actually just got really upset. I was like, I don't care. Actually, that was fucked up and he should get his ass kicked. Whoa. Ooh, I get you, Logan. I feel you, man.
I'm trying to think of, like, he hates his sister. His sister is a typical Hollywood attention. Yeah, he hates her. He loves his mom. His mom commits suicide. She takes some pills and jumps off a bridge after his father gets arrested. He does not buy it. That's hugely Gryffindor. He's like, my mom loves me. She would never leave me. She would never do this. He hires Veronica to find his mom.
That's so sad.
He believes like all the people who are like shilling for, they go to the newspapers and they're like, I saw, I don't remember her name. I saw blah, blah, blah alive at the Steak and Shake in Illinois and I have the story. Like, he's ready to talk to all those people just to find his mom.
I know Draco Malfoy is a Death Eater, and I'll prove it. I can't let it go. Calm the fuck down. Yeah, that's a big Gryffindor thing, not being able to let something go. You get it in your head. You can make everything else fit that. You can make everything else fit that feeling.
You have a feeling.
Yeah, it's in the gut. Sometimes it's just, like what you want to happen and you can't distinguish that from reality because you're so self-based.
Logan Eccles does have the audacity.
Boy, does he ever.
Yeah, I'm remembering the one episode, he does something at school. He gets reprimanded and his dad decides to also like teach him a lesson. So he takes him to a soup kitchen where Logan has to, he's doing the freaking homeless people wrestling ring, which is bad, obviously, and the media finds out. And so obviously Aaron Eccles, being a superstar, is like, this is bad publicity. So he takes Logan to a soup kitchen to like help the homeless and like be doing that publicly for his image. And Logan publicly donates on behalf of his father $10 million to the soup kitchen, and his dad whips him with a belt for it later. And obviously Logan knew that was coming, but he had the audacity to do it. So,
God, I hate you. I hate that you said that right before I was going to say nice things about Logan. That's so upsetting.
No, I think the beautiful thing about Logan, and I've been seeing people say this a lot lately, I don't know where I'm running into the Veronica Mars fandom all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But, and I saw it in a random tweet too. Somebody was like, what actor had to have played a character in order for that character to turn out okay? And somebody said that Logan Eccles had to have been played by Jason Dorig in order to have gone through the evolution that he did. And I would agree with that. I think Logan Eccles has gone through some of the best character evolution I have seen on TV, because I was going to talk about where he ended up, was he went into the Navy, and like you
where he ended up, I was going to say,
well, yeah, I know he ended up in a real bad place, and like you can, I will totally hear all the arguments about how bad the military is and like the institution, but from like a very base standpoint, he went from this really shitty kid who did whatever he wanted and had no respect for anybody and never wanted to help anybody, to actively deciding that he should help people. And he did so by going into the Navy, and he does a lot of undercover work.
Yes.
Is very high up in the Navy, and is constantly deployed. So he consciously made the choice to go from a place where he was like a fucked up little shit to having more structure and to kind of shaping his morality a little, instead of it being like this random haphazard mess of like moment to moment.
I just will go to the mat for a lot of Gryffindors that I probably shouldn't go to the mat for when you talk about family trauma, because I understand what goes on there, in that you feel like you can't get out of it, and you feel like you're just a symptom of it. That's it. That's the way. You can't excuse all the actions, right? We talked about this with Wanda in our WandaVision episode. It's the same thing. You can't excuse shitty behavior, but I guess you can sort of understand how he ended up so good when you realize that he was so bad because he felt so held back by whatever fucked up family shit was going on with him. I mean, when you're raised in that, it's normal. It's what you think you are. You don't think you're any better, deserve to be any better. You're going to grow to be any better. But the second you break away from that, Gryffindors can become the most awesome people. And he is a really good example of it.
He ends up losing his money, doesn't he?
I don't remember anything about his finances.
I feel like he ends up living in that little house with not that he really needs a permanent residence. He's being deployed all the time. But
right.
I feel like he lost quite a significant amount of his money. Something happens with his dad again. When his dad is in jail, there's a storyline with him that I can't really remember right now. But yeah, he changes a lot.
He doesn't need it. Like, he's got Veronica. That's all he wants, because he's a fucking simp. Oh, God, what a simp. I couldn't believe what a simp.
It really is. And this is like circling around to Veronica again, too. But she like is the same. We see throughout, like we were just talking about her relationship with Leo,
right?
who she ends up breaking up with because she kisses Logan. And also she treats Leo so like Leo works at the sheriff's office, so she brings him food and bats her eyelashes at him so she can go look at like official police records or whatever. And she gets Leo fired for that because she sees something that she shouldn't have, and Leo let her basically. And again, no remorse, but yeah, exactly. It's like, well, why were you dumb enough to do that? But with Logan, it's entirely different. Like, she's just as emotionally wrapped up in him as he is with her.
They really are.
Because I'm remembering too, when they break up in college, I think they do something like they go on a break, something like that. Or it's like it's still very new and it's still very emotionally fragile or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But he has sex with Parker, who is Veronica's friend's roommate. And Veronica, out of everything, is very mad about that. She's upset about that. Actually, I'm remembering her being much more mad at Parker, which falls in with
I expect this from scum like men.
Yeah.
But from you.
Yeah. Well, I also think it's a little bit of the Logan can do no wrong syndrome too there. That
sad.
Yeah.
She's a simp for him too.
Yep.
She really is.
Yep.
It's funny, as I was watching the is it called a reboot? I mean, what they did?
It's season 4. Season 4.
Yeah. As I was watching season 4, I was, you can make lots of arguments for like, she's so shitty to Logan and like, she doesn't, whatever. She placates Logan so much, even putting in the effort to say things like to explain herself. A Slytherin doesn't have to put that much effort into explaining themselves to you, and she does for him. So, I mean, and he knows that's as good as he's going to get for a little while there. So he takes it and eats it up and is like, yes, ma'am.
Give me some more.
Unbelievable.
We talked about this when weren't we talking about, I was like defending why she didn't want to get married?
Yeah.
That was a conversation we had.
I'm sure it was, because I have a tendency to sympathize with the Gryffindor and you have a tendency to sympathize with the Slytherin. So
that's
I was
not
very
true
often...
because there's a lot of Slytherins I don't like, but
there's a lot of Gryffindors you don't like either.
Who?
Oh. Wow, you're the simp.
Did you really try to think of one for a second there?
Snow White.
That's
Snow.
True. That's true.
Some of us are insufferable.
I took a second to realize that we did put her in Gryffindor.
Well, she belonged there.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. You're right. I hate Snow White.
Sorry, Hannah. I just directly coughed into the microphone and I completely fucking...
We did really great on time. Do you want to rant a little bit about your issues?
My issues? What issues do I have?
With the end of this.
About the show itself? You want me to get into the fucking issues with the show itself? I will get into them. You don't set up an entire goddamn season surrounding the couple that everyone rallied for and were obsessed with and shipped, whose name is Love. And then in the last 10 minutes, make Veronica realize that she's going to have such a great life with him now. And she married him. They just got married. And she's so happy. And then you fucking blow him up. You blow him up and you make her see that, oh shit, he's about to blow up and there's nothing I can do. And I'm going to yell in my fucking wedding outfit while he's in his tux. What the fuck was that? What the fuck? What was that?
Noir.
I don't give a shit. It's no. It's no. You take off the IR and it's no. You don't do that to her. That's horrible. Oh my God. It was like 2:00 in the morning and we were watching. We finally caught up and I'm so happy that they get married. And I'm like, oh, the whole season was their relationship. I mean, obviously it wasn't surrounding the relationship, but so much of their relationship, right, was developing here. He was trying to get her to see the benefits of therapy and look, he's a reformed Gryffindor who's in therapy. Good for him. And get her to marry him and just see it his way. And he finally does. She finally realizes this is what's really sick. She finally realizes how much it's not worth it to her to hold on to like her notions of marriage or whatever, because she thinks he dies. She thinks she loses him. And she realizes, this is more important. I do want to marry him because I don't want to live without him. And then they make her fucking live without him on her wedding day. In the last 10 minutes of an episode that was supposed to wrap up a season that people fought so hard for. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God, I don't even want to look at reviews. Did people like it?
No, people are mad about it.
Okay, well then... get off my ass, because she was mad at me for not liking it.
I was mad at you for saying I'm never watching this show again. If they do any more episodes of this show, I'm never watching it again. Fuck this show. I hate it.
I was having a tantrum. You should be able to recognize those. They don't mean anything. I just say whatever. No, I'll watch it because now I have to see, like, what the fuck could you possibly do? But I mean, I'm only going to ever enjoy it if they somehow bring him back to life, because otherwise that's going to be in my head the whole time. How could you do that to her? How could you do that to her?
Listen, I am going to say what I tried to explain to Rachel, and I think this also ends up being fairly Slytherin. So Rob Thomas, the creator of the show, did say that he killed Logan because he couldn't figure out how Veronica's life worked if she was happy with somebody else, which is really sad, right? It's incredibly sad. But I could see kind of where he was going with it, because the whole show has been about Veronica only being able to rely on herself. And obviously she has other people that she loves and she has other friends, but things happen that it always ends up being that she only has herself to fall back on. And I just feel like the show like just had to continue with that. Like, just the whole like lesson or view here is that people come and go, but you always have yourself, and the people that leave you might not always want to leave you, and you might not always want them to leave, but you have to be able to be strong enough for yourself. And I feel like that's what they're trying to say with Veronica. And I 100% agree that, like, why the fuck can't she be happy? And, like, give her some boy toy that she can, like, love around with or whatever. And, like, absolutely. But, like, because it is a noir show, they're like, here's the deal. Life sucks, and sometimes you only have yourself, and you have to be happy with that. And like it's very dark. That's what noir is. It's very dark and depressing, but it's also a little uplifting. I feel like the self-centered message is very Slytherin.
It's cruel.
It is. It's
cruel. And I'm okay, life is cruel, right? But do I watch TV to witness cruelty? No, I don't. Not Veronica Mars. And I can see them maybe, listen, he is a army man. There were other opportunities to, if you wanted to make a believable situation where you wanted this to reflect life, right? The awful truths of life, that you could have had Logan pass away. Explain to me why it had to be done on their wedding day. Explain.
like why that specific choice was made.
Why was that? How
that
was that a good choice?
Made for dramatic effect, right? Like Veronica's
that
happy.
Is some.
No.
I don't want to insult the show or the writers because it's a brilliant show. That was some cheap fucking soap opera bullshit. You don't fucking do that to brilliantly written characters with incredible chemistry, and just writing is so good. And then they blew me up. I felt like they blew me up. I felt like I was in that car. Like, I was so betrayed. It's just that choice. I could understand. People die. Okay, people's spouses die. Their friends die. Their dads die. If Keith died, okay, these are all truths. And for Veronica, yes, maybe the overall message is that she really does have to rely on herself. It's really all she ever could count on. And she's stronger for it. And maybe it's a good thing for people who have actually lost people to see it reflected, like this can happen and look how strong she can go on and be okay. You still have you. It didn't need to happen on the wedding day. That's unusually cruel. When I'm saying the word cruel, that's what I'm talking about. The way they did it. Cruel. I can't get over it.
I think they wanted to give her the happiness of her wedding. But then they were
for
like,
an hour?
Well, yeah, because then they were like, what? Like, she's not going to live this life. So.
Oh my God. That is evil. Rob Thomas. Meet me at the 7-Eleven, 11 o'clock. We're going to fight. I'm bringing my gloves. What the fuck, man? Dax Shepard, I know you're listening. What do you think of this bullshit? Very upset. What does Kristen Bell think of this?
I think she was okay with it.
You know what, Kristen? That's disappointing. And I'm disappointed in you. She just loves Veronica. She loves playing Veronica. I mean, she's not going to say anything bad. I don't think this was a good choice.
She said if there's no conflict, there wouldn't be a show to watch.
Okay. Okay, Kristen. You know what? This is why I like Elsa better. So. I can't fucking stand Elsa. I don't like Elsa at all.
You don't like Elsa? I love Elsa.
She's so annoying.
Can't wait to sort Frozen.
We already did to each other.
We can sort it on the show, too.
No, because now Kristen Bell has betrayed me, so
oh my God.
I will not sort anything.
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding.
Jensen Ackles like his finale, too.
He did.
He broke his sexy silence.
Sure he did. Sure he loved it. I'm sure he didn't argue with anyone about it at all, ever. And anyway, the Supernatural finale sucked. The Veronica Mars finale.
No, it's the reason that I thought about it is, I don't know if you saw, there was just recently an Am I the Asshole post where this dad was like, am I the asshole for telling my daughter to stop making Supernatural her life or whatever? And then it's like this whole, yeah, you did. I posted it. You should go look at it. But, and then it's like this whole explanation for how his daughter is 16 and started watching the show when she was 11 and saw the finale and was really upset about it because, as he understands, the finale was widely not liked. And he was like, but she won't stop. And he was like, I've taken her to conventions and I've supported her, but she won't stop talking to me about it. And like her favorite character is dead and she like is upset about that. And she just brings it up all the time. And he was like, basically, he was like, am I the asshole because I told her she has to stop talking about it or nobody will want to talk to her? Because then apparently it turned out that her friends did stop talking to her about it because they were tired of it. So she was trying to connect with her dad. And also, like, the Dean Winchester thing is a 16-year-old would be upset by that, especially if Dean Winchester is their comfort character and like what was implied by what happened to Dean.
Uh-huh.
You would need to talk to Daddy about that. But I was looking at the comments of, people judge whether you're the asshole or not. So it was like a mix of people complaining about the Supernatural finale and then a mix of people commiserating about other finales. And one that was very frequently brought up was Veronica Mars and the fact that Logan Echolls had been unceremoniously blown up in the last 10 seconds of the show.
Thank you. I'm so happy to know I'm not alone in that. It's not the death that's part of life. It's the way y'all didn't have to do it like that. Dean didn't deserve the rebar. Logan didn't deserve the bump. Like, what is going on with shows not knowing how to end anymore? Like, what is it? Too cool to have a happy ending? You're too cool for happiness. I will
say, we were just talking about this too. Another fantastic Kristen Bell show, and Rachel hasn't seen the end. The Good Place ends extremely well.
That's good.
Yes.
It's befitting of its name.
Yes, right?
Really,
but it's
though,
Kristen Bell adjacent. Well, not adjacent. It's directly connected, but...
Yeah, well, listen, I just think she's another Jensen Ackles here where they're not going to trash their life's work. And I mean, I'm not going to say Veronica Mars is her life's work, but it's a big part of her life.
I think it's her favorite role ever.
Right, so why is she going to shit on it? So I'll forgive her for that. But I'm just saying, what the fuck? What the fuck? And I felt it like as I was talking to Lauren, I was like, what the fuck? And I was slowly getting angrier and she was slowly becoming more protective of the show and like defending it.
Which is a dynamic that's pretty common.
Oh God, which is so fucking annoying. Like, why do you have to devil's advocate everything? Shut up. It was bad. Let me yell. It was bad. Ugh. Go ahead, defend it. Go. What do you want to say?
No, I already said what I wanted to say. No, I agree. I wish Logan hadn't died. I wish he had not died. I wish she could be happy and married. But I also see what they mean. Like, what would the show be from that point on?
God damn it. What do you mean you see? What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean? What would the show be? She sits in like dingy hotel rooms and catches people cheating on each other. And
Logan goes over fucking seas all the time. You don't even need him there.
Presumably, if he got married, he would go into the reserves.
First of all, now that I know the show isn't above using fucking soap opera bullshit tactics, they could have done a season of her, like, and him either splitting up or her thinking there was someone else or some other bullshit, some other dumbass trope, miscommunication trope.
You would have been okay with that?
Yeah, if in the end it wasn't true and they were fine. Because how many times do they break up and make up?
Well, that's also probably it, too. Like, how many times are they able to fucking do that before people are like...
When you have a ship everyone loves and wants to see together, you can do it as many times as you want. You're right. The only choice is to fucking blow him up on their wedding day. That's fine. That's fine with you. Okay, you know what? You know what? This is why you'll never be in Gryffindor.
So...
I ban you.
Veronica's a Slytherin, Logan's a Gryffindor, and Keith is a Hufflepuff.
He's so cute.
Yeah.
You guys are cute. I don't get you, but you're cute.
Thanks, man.
I'm talking about Hufflepuffs.
Oh, okay.
Not people who are apologists for the Veronica Mars finale. This one will
Veronica understands why Logan had to die too.
No. You just, if you love it, you're going to find reasons to defend it from other people because it's in your circle. I know how you operate. I know you. Goddamn Slytherins. But Veronica Mars is a great one, and it's a great show, and you should watch it despite that ending. Just stop before. Like, stop.
Watch them get married and then turn it off.
Yeah, exactly. Just like with Supernatural, stop at the 18th episode of season 15.
You can watch 19 if you're feeling adventurous. That won't ruin anything for you. And personally, I am a big fan of Dean almost killing himself, tripping up the stairs. But
Overcast? Yeah, that was cute. Yeah, that's
like
fine.
The only part of it. No, watch 18 and then watch that scene. And then stop it right before he opens the door. And then you're good.
Oh, so good. What a great finale.
Right?
Love that.
He opens the door and Cass is there. It's great. Yes. And no one dies.
Well,
yeah. Anyway.
This was fun. I loved watching that a few years ago with you. That was great. I loved getting the DVD in the mail. And I think it's really fitting that we did Veronica Mars for your birthday. So
thank you.
I mean, Lauren has a lot in common with her. I mean, I would have loved to have done Sunny, but we need to do that on the appropriate day.
I was like, your birthday hasn't happened yet.
Well, because I can make an argument that my favorite shows, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but Buffy and that are tied very closely. So, I mean, we could do Buffy.
Okay.
We
I have
could.
to watch Buffy.
You do.
Yeah.
And The Boys and so many things. Can't wait.
I'm waiting on you for The Boys. But anyway, so next week is going to be the Outlander episode that we
that we
put
promised
off,
and then lied about.
I'll repeat it again, though. If it's bad, it's Haley's fault. So.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Hi, Haley. Love you. So sorry for Lauren.
And it wasn't bad. It was. We did it already. It was very good.
Oh my God, it was fun.
Yeah.
I love these. I love shows like that. Okay. I'm a sucker for relationship-based shows. So when you blow someone up in a fucking car on their wedding day, I'm going to hold on to it for a while. Okay. I'm not going to be over this for a while. But what I do want to say is everyone leave Lauren some love on our Instagram, on our Twitter, sob_pod. And then if you look in the bios, she's tagged. So you can find her at JOLAURIANG on Twitter.
Spelled it right.
I know. I had to think about it very slowly, but I got it. Wish her some birthday lovin'. She's 27. She needs it. She's going to have the back problems that us old people do soon.
Gonna get that hip replacement soon.
Oh, yeah. Well, just the first one.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Well,
that's all.
It's been real.
See you in April.
Catch you on the flippity flip.
Goodbye. Enjoy your stimulus checks if you're in America and you qualify for that. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Sort of Brilliant. If our sorting choices inspired any rage or excitement, we'd love to hear from you. We're open to feedback, suggestions for characters to sort, and solid counter-arguments with citations.
Never forget your citations. You can find us hanging out on Twitter and Instagram at SOB_pod or shoot us an email at sortofbrilliant@gmail.com.
And since we're not above begging, please rate and subscribe to Sort of Brilliant on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Please share our posts on social media. And if you're a Gryffindor, maybe you'll inspire sorting fights among your own friend group.
The theme music is Hot Shot by Scott Holmes. Can't wait to sort with you again next time. Bye!